Howdy Moz fans, and welcome to another edition of Whiteboard Friday. Today I want to talk to you about the Pogo-Sticking Problem. So here's the story, right? Basically, search engines, Google included, uses a lot of different kinds of data for their ranking algorithms, but one of the pieces that's in there, and we don't know exactly how big it might be, but certainly possible that it's sizable, is what's called pogo-sticking. They measure this feature or this occurrence where someone performs a search. So I performed a search here for IT consultants, and there's a few listings that come up. And I click on IT Boston, takes me to IT Boston's website, and then I decide maybe in the first 5 or 10 seconds, you know what? This site is not solving my problem. This isn't really what I wanted. And I go right back to the same search result. Either I click back or I search for it again, or I search for something different, and then I go and click on other results. And maybe I click on this, is IT consulting dead, right? It's sort of a link baity article from some, I don't know, news source or something, BuzzFeed maybe. Click on that, go to that page, and I stay on it. And I don't come back to the search result. And Google measures these kinds of things. So does Bing. They measure this pogo sticking, and they come up with essentially, this is a very simplistic representation of what actually happens, but X% of people pogo stick away from IT Boston in their first 5 seconds of visiting the site. Y% do it for this BuzzFeed page, and Z% do it for IT 101. And so we're going to calculate some average, the average pogo sticking, as sorted and weighted by the ranking position for this particular search result. Here's the problem, right? Now, for every search result, there's some different pogo sticking rate, but great pages and sites tend to have the trait that they've got really low pogo sticking rates. People click on, if IT Boston is a great result, people click it and they stay. Their search query has been satisfied. And Google likes that. That means that a searcher is made happy and they're not coming back and doing other searches and clicking other results. Sometimes this might be okay, right? Maybe there's some sorts of searches where Google says, oh, lots of people do click multiple times, and lots of people do bounce back and forth, and it's fine. But for the vast majority of searches, this is really important to get right. So I have some tactical tips for you. The solutions, if you've got a pogo sticking problem, right? A high bounce rate, people are going back to the search results, clicking on your competitors' links, that kind of thing. The number one thing you can do is get in the searcher's head. This is different, might be different from getting in your customer's head. You might say, hey, we've designed this excellent landing page. It's really focused. If the 10% of people who search, who are our kind of customers, come to this page, they're going to convert. And the challenge there is you got to think bigger. You have to think about all the searchers, the 90% of the searchers who may not be your customer, and how do you answer their query? Because otherwise, you're probably going to be falling in those search results. What questions do those people have? What makes them engage versus leave? What is it when this person performs a search that they want to know? And if you don't know, you can ask. One of my top recommendations for people who have just kind of a crummy page is I want you to go out and I want you to survey people in your office, people who work with you, people who are customers, longtime customers, people who are in your network. I want you to survey them. I want you to ask them, imagine you have performed a search for X. Tell me the first most important thing you're looking for. Now tell me the second thing that you'd probably be interested in. And now tell me the third thing. And people will just free form, leave a couple, phrases or sentences in those boxes, send it back to you. Boom. Now you know what people want. If you don't have that sort of searcher empathy built into your head already, you can do it this way through the surveying system. And then you can make a page that people are going to love. You can answer those questions. Number two, I see a lot of search results out there that are missing design and UX elements that are critical to success, right? So if you've got this crappy, crummy 1990s design aesthetic going on, or even a more updated thing, but it's just not a very usable website. The navigation's poor, the images are poor, the content quality's poor. You gotta work on that, right? If you can't say with conviction that you have the highest quality, most usable, beautiful, high visual quality page in the results, get to work, man. Get to work. This stuff is really important. If you're looking, by the way, one of my top suggestions is to check out Dribbble.com. That's DRIBBBLE.com. Wonderful designers are available on there. Some of them are very expensive. Some of them are less expensive. great resource to check out. Number 3, the last thing that I'll mention on tactical tips for this is load speed and device support. So a lot of times I do see this problem where someone goes to a page and then after 2 or 3 seconds, if something hasn't loaded, they go back. You can work on this. Even if you have a relatively robust page, you can get elements to load in those critical first second and a half time frames. Check out developers.google.com/speed/paid speed. They've got an analysis tool and a system you can walk through to make sure that works. You should also be multi-device compliant. Make sure that if you don't have responsive design, you at least have a mobile-friendly site, an iPad-friendly site. I do love responsive design. I recommend it. But this becomes a challenge too, because remember, if lots of people are searching on mobile and they're bouncing back because your page is slow or it doesn't work with a mobile device, you're kind of in trouble. Those stats are going to hurt you in the results. All right, everyone, hope you've enjoyed this edition of Whiteboard Friday, and we will see you again next week. Take care.